Verdel Jones, and we are so excited that you decided to turn into Have You Heard, a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. So, there's nothing better than great conversations with great friends. And that's what today's show is all about. We hope that this conversation just uplifts and entertains and empowers you to live your best life possible. So, we want to make sure that you share your thoughts and comments in the chat section, and we will make sure to respond and get back to you. And also, please, please, please don't forget to like and share this show on all your social media platforms so everybody can check out what Have You Heard is doing. We are so excited to also share with you that we have other great shows on Rude Rangers Entertainment. So if you go to ruderangers.com, you can see great shows like this. So after you finish watching this, make sure you get to ruderangers.com to see all of the other fabulous shows that we have. So, like I said, great conversations with great friends. It doesn't get any better than that. And I am so lucky to be joined by two amazing ladies, two great co-hosts. So ladies, why don't you introduce yourself? We'll start with Coach Heidi.
Hey everybody, I'm Coach Heidi K. I'm so excited to be here with my great friends tonight. We have so many important things to talk about with you, and I'm so excited to talk with all of you. I am a life and dating coach and creator of Real Connection Virtually events for singles on Zoom, and lots to talk to you about tonight. So thanks for being here.
And last but not least, the fitter woman.
Hey fam, my name is Orlandina, the Fertile Woman. I am the host of Muscles and Stilettos. I am a motivator, I am an educator, I am a professional bodybuilder, but most importantly, I am the people's health coach. And I'm so excited to be here on Have You Heard? So I'm telling you, by the time you're done with us, you're gonna have to click and share and click and share.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Heidi, I'm going to kick it back to you because I know before we got started, we were talking about changing consciousness, and in this era of so much change, I think it's really, let's talk about it.
Let's do that. Let's do that, Verdel and Orlandina. Okay, so just recently, my husband and I took a driving trip to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and it was so uplifting to change the scenery after all these months of lockdown. Oh my God. Steve and I love to travel in the summertime, and we actually love cruises. That's our favorite. Okay, so we are devastated. Where are our cruises? Where are you? So we can't do that. So we've have visited, more exotic places that we're really excited about our bucket list and where to go. But now in COVID, we couldn't do that. So we found a driving trip to take, and we thought, well, maybe we'll be a little disappointed because it's not like our regular summer trip that we look forward to all year long, but it ended up to be just getting in the car and seeing new things. We already started to get uplifted. So I just really want to lift up everybody to change your environment a little bit, whatever your budget is. If it's not a sleepover visit, it can just be take a drive into the country, take a walk somewhere where you don't usually walk and get with nature. It is just transformational. So what do you girls think about what I'm sharing?
I totally agree. I didn't get to really go away this summer. I didn't get to go away at all this summer. And so what I ended up doing was just taking a couple of days to go to the beach. I'm usually like a little beach bum, but not so much this year. But there was one day I was there and I just thought about the word shift. How now we're in a season of shifting. We're transitioning from summer to fall. So that is a shift. And usually during that shift, there's all this, just tumultuous events. Our bodies are changing, our mindset is changing. We're going to a crazy new school year. We'll come back to that. But just this idea of shifting our thoughts, our mindsets, and the way we do things. So it's nice when you get out of your everyday. And like you said, even if you just take a drive somewhere, just something to remove you from your current space to help allow you to shift.
Right,
so yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I think this was the perfect conversation for this time. In full transparency, being transparent in this, I didn't do too much this summer because I was working on trying to develop a space for our kids and teachers when they return to school. So most of my summer was really dedicated to doing that. We did a couple of day trips. We went out east and, the wineries and sunflower fields, and that was just beautiful. But it was just a day, and while we were doing that, I was on my phone, or I had a Zoom conference for a meeting about how to open up schools. So I think it's so important what you said, and this is timely for me because it really took a toll on my physical. It takes a toll on my heart is messed up when my heart was beautiful, 2 years ago. So it really took a toll on my physical. So what you said is just so timely. And I think we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. Yeah. And even if that's getting away or some other self-care, I really haven't found the time to do that yet. So I don't feel like I'll be able to exhale anytime soon.
Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of people have been feeling during COVID. We're supposed to have extra time on our hands, but somehow a lot of us ended up working harder.
Right.
And so when you get into into nature or whatever it is that calls out to you, all of a sudden it's like it goes like this, like a little calmer, bit calmer. Mm-hmm. And it's a great thing. And we each owe it to ourselves.
We do.
And that's one of the reasons why I like cruising so much, because when you're on a cruise, unless you're buying that internet plan, which is expensive,
you just tap out. You
can completely tap out.
You love cruises too?
I love cruises because
I'm so bonding with you.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love them too because it allows you to see so many different places at one time. And then you go back and visit it again. Like, you're like, oh, I like this island or I like this place.
Yes.
But I love it because now when you're on the boat, you're disconnected. And the next time you can get reconnected is when you get close to port.
Away from it all. I don't know if I'll have cell, you guys.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
No Wi-Fi out there.
Sorry. So you know what? We did a cruise because I'm excited that you both love the cruising because, like I said, I only went once, and it was the first time I went a few years ago, and we went with a large group, and none of us had our cell phones. We brought them, but we didn't use them, and it was so interesting how we knew where we all were, and how to find each other without a cell phone.
Yes.
Imagine that.
You figured it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
It's fun, and I love the different ports and it's
fabulous.
Great.
I love cruises too because I like to unpack what's. I have a lot of toiletries and a lot of shoes. Okay, and I don't want to pack that stuff up any extra.
Yes.
But
do you overpack? Because people.
Oh, I'm ridiculous. It's a disease. A disease, I'm telling you.
I'm like,
help me.
I love color, but when I go cruising, I go basic colors. I'm like, this matches with this matches with this. I can wear this twice and wear it with that bottom.
All right, next time I pack, you are coming over, Orlandina.
I got you. Because I don't want to carry, because I know what happens. Like you say, you overpack, you don't even wear the stuff. I bring one nice outfit.
Right, and that's it.
And that's it.
That's all you need.
You too, Verdel?
Yeah, I've learned my lesson. Because you don't wear half the stuff. Like, I'm going to wear this pretty dress. I wear a sarong and a bathing suit, and that's it.
Exactly.
But it's kind of fun to dress up at night on the cruise.
It is.
Like, that's part of the fun a bit. So I never know kind of what I'm going to be in the mood for. Or what's going to fit after all the eating that I'm doing.
What are some other things that people can do to to change that shift? So they can't get away, let's say. What can they do?
Yeah. So kind of like I was talking about, take a walk where it's not your usual route. Like I know when I walk, I always go on my route like I'm an automatic robot. So if you just explore a different route, it could be amazing. Or, drive to another route and get out and walk there. That's
just make sure you're safe.
Simple way.
Right.
Really just, go to a park, sit on the bench, look around, breathe deeply. These are such simple things, but now that we can't do a lot of the exciting, sophisticated things that we do, we got to get back to basics. Maybe that's the message that the universe is sending us in all of this. Get back to basics. Enjoy the simple things like sitting on a park bench, looking at some trees and breathing.
So true.
Be grateful.
I love it. Go ahead, Orlandina.
And I'm like, now that the fall is coming, we know the leaves are going to be changing. The smells of those leaves, it puts you in a different place. The air is a little cooler, crisper. And sometimes like I'll go, for a run or walk with my headphones, and sometimes I'll just turn it off. Like I just turn off the music and just, especially if I'm at a park, I turn it off and just allow myself just to be in that place.
Yeah, those are some great tips. You know what? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after these messages. You're watching Have You Heard? Powered by the Rude Rangers Entertainment Network. So we'll be back in a moment.
Fantastic.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission. Sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com, KeishaGems.com.
Orlandina, the Fitter Woman, the host of Muscles and Stilettos, and welcome back to Have You Heard? So ladies, we are now back to school. Anybody got kids in school? Okay. Well, if you out there have kids in school, I know you've been struggling with the decision of, should I stay? Should I go? A lot of parents are struggling with the decision of sending their children to school with all the concerns that they have, or keeping them home, and they're concerned about them being able to socialize and have a normal childhood, and that has been causing parents a lot of angst. Today was our first day of school in our school district, and even as of yesterday, parents were still making changes. Like, I don't think I want to send my child, they're going to go remote. And so now you have these significant changes happening, literally overnight. Like last night, I saw my schedule change overnight. So it's causing a lot of changes and challenges at home, in the schools, with teachers. So everybody's struggling. And, one of the words that my principal keeps talking about is being flexible and being okay with making mistakes, because what I know for myself, like anytime people ask me questions, I'm like, I don't know. No one knows. We've never ever done this before. So what are you ladies hearing? I know, if your friends have kids in school, or what's going on, if you yourself have children in school.
Yeah, it's just, honestly, so I've been an educator for over 25 years, and as everyone has said, this is something like we have never seen before. Education, as we know it, is definitely changing. And to your point, Orlandina, we have our school district was one of the first districts to open with students in it in our area. We were covered by the news media, and we have put in. I think we have done an outstanding job in keeping our kids safe and our staff safe as well. But it's very different. And like you said, I don't have the answers. I have people coming to me and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. And being an educators, one of the things about educators are I like to say we're institutionalized. And the reason I say that is because we've been going to school since we were in kindergarten. We're still there. So a lot of us have not really been in industry. We've been in education all this time. And we're used to the way things are supposed to go in education. So this shift for us, it's really in our inner. It is really something that we are struggling with as a whole because we are so regimented and we like things to go a certain way as educators.
Yes.
Very, very difficult.
It is, and you're right.
I have so much respect for people that are making these decisions and, making everything run smoothly. It is such unprecedented times to be doing that. And it's such huge responsibility. Really hats off around that. And it sounds like what you're really role modeling for kids. I know both of you are in education. What you're really role modeling for the kids is flexibility, as you said. And that is, what could be a more important lesson than that? You've got to roll with it in life. Haven't we all learned that? And here's another lesson the universe is sending us in this era. You've got to be flexible and roll with it. It's not going to be exactly the way you want. And so when you can role model that with grace and a smile on your face, what better lesson is that? Better lesson to just show kids that you're that way than even saying it to them. Show me, don't tell me.
It's true.
It sounds like that's what you're doing every day.
Absolutely. My opening comment to all of my classes, whether they were, physically there or my virtual class, was like, if anything, this time has taught us all to be flexible. And they their little mask on, they're like, yes. I said, you've learned that you have to be creative, and they're like, yes. I said, I bet you all learned that you had to think differently. They're like, yeah. And I said, okay, so that means you were all little warriors. You all were able to do it. And I said, this is what life is. Life is sometimes going to give us the craziest situations, and we've got to learn to just roll with it and have that grit. And I said, you're all here. So that serves as a testament. And I think also, even for, like you said, we are institutionalized because as educators, we're used to, you teach lesson 1, you teach lesson 2. And when you've been teaching for a long time.
Do I teach this?
How do I teach this?
Right. I had teachers asking, like, okay, my period 4, like at the beginning, and I'm like, you might not even have a period 4. Like,
exactly. That happened.
Period 4 might be getting a COVID test. Line up.
You have no idea.
And get your stick up your nose.
Exactly. You what you thought was going to happen, it was not going to happen. And that happened to me today. My 3rd period class changed. I don't have a 6th grade. Oh, it's 7th grade now. Oh, okay. And I can't fault the administration. I can't, because it's changing in front of them. So it's changing in front of us. So we all have to just kind of just be like, all right, whatever it is what it is. I got you.
Right. And the things with, like, it's like the levels. So the students are looking to the teachers are looking to the administrators, and we all have no answers for you.
No.
with certain things.
Correct.
And it's very hard for a teacher when I'm talking to teachers or faculty or parents or what have you. I don't have all the answers, and they expect you to have all the answers.
Exactly.
So I think it's good also for us to to share that we are struggling also. We're all in it together, as they say,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think also, if we talk about the parents, because like you said, you spoke of the levels. We have the students, we have the teachers, we have the administration, and then you have the parents who are like, do I send my baby out into COVID land, or do I keep them home and keep them protected, but then they're not getting the full educational experience? And I tell the parents, like, listen, you do what you feel is best. You're not doing, as long as you're making a decision because you feel that's the best decision for your child, then that's the best decision for your child. And no one knows your child better than you. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, you change it. What's the worst? What's the worst can happen?
Right.
So I think also the parents, their role, they've always been a support for the children in school, but now, especially if you have children learning remotely, mom and dad is like right next to you now. So now the parents are, I want parents to understand, listen, you're a support, not a crutch. So leave your baby to learn, be there, support them. If they need assistance, definitely assist them, but be a support and not a crutch, because now, you have some parents, they see the child struggling, they want to help them. Like, no, you can guide them, but let the child, do for themselves. So I think parents are struggling too. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
The parents have really tough decisions to make. And kind of like we touched upon this in one of our other episodes about tuning into your intuition. And every parent's just got to tune into their intuition. No one can tell you what to do for your child. And we have to learn to trust our intuition and then not be second guessing ourselves. Make the decision and then be at peace with the decision and make the best of it and navigate in the best way possible. And also kind of just take one day at a time, baby steps. We got through this day, no COVID cases, everybody came home, they got back to school the next day. We don't necessarily have to look to next week or next month all the time. Just one day at a time is often a great way to handle challenges. Really is. 1 hour at a time. 1 hour, one day at a time. As small as you need to chunk it down.
That's right. It fluctuates because one of the responsibilities that I have is supervising our nurses. So as you can imagine, that's a hot topic right now. And these things change on a dime. You have cases, they're the kid has the sniffles and the headache. So what do I do? So these are things that are changing, nonstop. We have to report any COVID cases to, the health department every day if we do have a case or if there's a change. So this is something that, things are put in place. We have to adapt. And I think the big takeaway, like you said, is the flexibility and just being, people are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And we have to go easy on people when they make mistakes, rather than being really critical and judgmental. Just, give each other that space.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And to be okay, you yourself it's okay for others to make mistakes. We have to understand that. And it's okay for us to make a mistake. Like, as I'm doing things, I'm like, all right, that didn't work. All right, I got tonight, I'll fix it tomorrow. And what you said, Heidi, is exactly like I said, you know what? Stop trying to plan for next month. Stop trying to let's
now
focus on right now. Okay, it didn't work.
Right?
Just being mindfulness. Let me stay here. Let me not drive myself crazy because I like to think ahead and plan ahead. Let me just focus on now and just move forward from there. And if I make a mistake, listen, I didn't drop a baby. We're all right.
You didn't have to pay overweight in the airport for your packing like me. Talk about mistakes.
And, I think teachers need to hear that too. Teachers need to hear from their administrators that, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. We are all learning because teachers, I was a teacher also. So I know that, when you do something wrong, it's like you're back in school again.
I don't want to be wrong, ever. I'm the teacher. I'm supposed to be right all the time.
And again, that's a great lesson to role model for the kids. It's okay to make mistakes. When kids don't feel it's okay to make mistakes, then they're not going to try challenging things. They're just going to stay with what's simple because they're terrified of making a mistake. So if we can show them, hey, it's okay, they're going to really reach greater heights.
That's true. I love that positive spin. I love it.
It is. I was messing around with one of our projectors, the wires, everything. And at one point, one kid was like, "Miss, are you okay?" I'm like, hold on. Finally, I realized the projector is wireless and I had to unhook everything. I told the kids, this is a great example of never giving up.
That's right.
I got it wrong, but I kept going, persisting to make sure I was able to do it. Did I give up? They were like, no, miss. So with that being said, fam, we're going to be... So with that, fam, we'll be back, listen to our sponsors, and watch these upcoming commercials.
Welcome back to Have You Heard on Rude Rangers Entertainment. We're so excited to be talking with you. I hope that you are sharing, commenting, and spreading all the empowerment, the uplift, the entertainment that we are sharing with you. I'm here with my amazing co-hosts, Verdel and Orlandina, and we've got some hot topics to talk with you about. So let's talk about what's been happening to relationships during COVID and the stress that has been placing on marriages and on romantic relationships. We've seen a lot of that, okay? And as a dating coach and relationship coach, I've got my individual clients coming to me and talking to me a lot about that stress. And so what's been happening really, as I work with a lot of people who are getting divorced, now that, in certain places, lockdown has kind of lifted a bit, people are coming out of the woodwork and starting to pursue their divorce processes. When we were on lockdown, everything was kind of on hold. But now that in some places it's lifting, it's really picking up. And people are really, they're kind of fed up with being on lockdown with somebody who they're having a lot of tension with. And so it's really a serious issue. So I think what's really important for people to realize is, if you were struggling before COVID in your marriage or your relationship and having serious issues, now maybe being on lockdown, pushed you over the edge. And maybe that is the time for you to talk about going your separate ways. But if you weren't having these issues before COVID, and then during the lockdown, you started experiencing a lot of tension, I would encourage you not to do anything rash, because everybody has been feeling a little off, and we each express it and feel it in our own ways. Everybody, some people get irritable, and so they're, barking at others more easily. Some people retreat into themselves and get a lot more quiet and less communicative. Everybody's going to feel it and experience it differently. So maybe we need to give each other a little bit of space and a little bit of grace, and see when we can get a little bit back to normal how the relationship is going, rather than, I'm out of lockdown and I've got to get rid of this person. Because if you had a lot of strengths to your relationship before, you may be able to get them to emerge again. What do you girls think about what I'm sharing?
I think that you're right on. You're hitting it. I think what's happening is, like you said, you've been stuck with this person, or it depends. It could be stuck with this person, locked in with this person, but you've been with this person under a very, very stressful time. And some relationships, this is just your rough patch. And you gotta be able to look at it and try to decipher, is this a rough patch? Relationships are not easy. People change. and people should change. It's called an evolution. And sometimes certain situations such as this causes a shift. We were talking that in the opening segment. It causes a shift within people. You see so much happening, so much death. It causes a shift in your psyche. Seeing the death of George Floyd, that caused another shift in your psyche. So is this, and I think what people need to be able to decipher, like you said, take a cool down period as we come out of this, really examine your relationship and see if this is something worth salvaging. Look at, what does this person add to your life? What value, try to remember what it is that brought you together. And if after that, you say, this is still not the person for me, or I've come to my great awakening and realized this is not the person that's supposed to carry me on to the next phase of my journey, and this time is done, let me move forward, then move forward. But I think if it was already bad, then that's something different. But if you're on that cusp, examine it, because some relationships are really worth putting the time and effort and fighting for your relationship, and see if that's what you want.
Right, and I think that's a great point that you bring up, the shifts. So, in a relationship, you're working together, but with all of the things that are going on in our world today, sometimes you go inside yourself. Yes. Because you're trying to unpack what is going on and how you may fit in. So you are more likely, I would think, to withdraw from the relationship. And as things are opening up, you're starting to, you might not even really know still where you fit in, because things are still going on, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a drastic thing to say, let me get out of this relationship, but you need to heal yourself first. Because yes. I think all of us have experienced some type of trauma during this season. Whatever it may be, whatever part it may be, I think we've all experienced some of that. And I think it's really important for us to heal. And that's not easy for people to begin that healing process.
Yeah. So such great points. We really want to maybe take this as an opportunity, take this time as an opportunity to, yes, work within ourselves, but also to try out new ways of communicating with our partner. If we were, like you say, retreating into ourselves, or, like you said, Verdel and Orlandina, like you said, really struggling with certain events that have gone down. Rather than holding it in, give our partner an opportunity to be there for us as we unpack it, as we talk about it. Give ourselves an opportunity to be there for them, right. To be a sounding board, and rather than each person retreating and trying desperately to deal with all of this, COVID, and then a hurricane on top of it, and
fires,
deaths and killing and violence and God knows horrible things. We need to reach out to each other rather than retreat, for sure.
And how do we, Heidi? How do we do that? How do we?
Yeah.
If communication may be a struggle within a relationship on any given day, how do we begin that process of being able to go through those steps?
Yeah. So, I would say it goes back to our theme of taking baby steps. So if you're accustomed to retreating into yourself, and you're really not accustomed to having these extensive conversations about how you're feeling about the events, you're not going to suddenly have the world's, most intense, long conversation. Take a baby step. Even saying something like, over the course of the last few months, there's been so many difficult events happening that I've really been retreating into myself and not talking much about it. Just that is a great opening. Start with a baby step. And it's all about the energy that you bring it across with. If you're bringing it across with a nice, vulnerable energy, an open energy, then it's going to be received that way. If you're going to bring it across with some kind of a critical energy, like, I've been retreating to myself because, who am I going to talk to about this? Then you're gonna alienate that person. And how do you think they're going to react? They're going to come out swinging, like, Well, I heard enough complaining, so then we're off to the races.
Yeah, right. Communication is so important. It really
So
is.
it's all about the energy that you bring it across with, for sure.
So now, Heidi, what if you processed it and you're like, you know what, it's time to move on. How do you know when to fight or when to flight? Like in a relationship, like how do you know? Fight or flight?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, it's going to come back to communication. You're going to have to sit down with the person and talk about, here's what I really want. You're going to have to get clear on it, okay? So nothing gets built without a dream and a vision. Sit down and think about what it is that how you want things to be, and now talk about with this person, can we fit with how I want it to be, and listen to how do you want it to be. And if you're, if you're really going through this rough patch, as you called it, Orlandina, look for couples counseling, and have an objective, trained professional sit with you and try to help you ascertain that, that decision.
And where could somebody find a couples counseling? Because if there's a couple out there listening, they're like, we need this. Where could they look and get that type of resource?
Yeah, so you're welcome to reach out to me. I have, great referrals on that, and you can, message me. I'm really happy to be a resource and help people in that way. Psychology Today is a great website to go on, and you can kind of read profiles about different counselors that work with couples and kind of get an idea from there. There's there's even videos on there with the counselor speaking, and sometimes it's going to take a little bit of sort of meeting more than one counselor for both people to really agree that this is a person that can be helpful to them.
Sounds like dating. You gotta,
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a first date with a couple of counselors.
That's important. You got to click with that person,
Yeah, and then on Psychology Today, they'll also, say what insurance is accepted, etc. So that can be helpful too.
Definitely important stuff.
And then, I work with individuals who are, coming to me and saying, should I stay or should I go? And, working through it on a one-to-one with me. And then also, okay, I'm leaving the relationship. What now? How do I deal with this? Or my partner wants to leave the relationship. I don't, but my partner does. How do I deal with this? And we have to, coach them and support them to look for the opportunity within the challenge and the pain. There's always opportunity within challenge and pain. And, that's part of the work that we do for sure. So I could talk to you girls all day about this, and so much more to say about moving on past relationships, which so many people experience and need to do. But we need to go to a commercial break. You're watching Have You Heard on Rude Rangers Entertainment. Don't go away. We are going to be right back, and you are sharing all over your social media, commenting, questioning us. We want to interact with you. We want to continue the conversation with you. And we will see you right back here at Have You Heard in a few moments. Don't go away.
back to Have You Heard? You know, we are having an awesome conversation. We have two amazing women that are just real, you know. When I watch this back, I really gain, and as it's going on, I gain some nuggets, you know, some great information, things that I can actually use and implement in my own life or share with other people. So with that being said, make sure you like and share Have You Heard to all your social media outlets so everybody can check us out and also engage. We really love that as well. So, you know, we have, with COVID and everything opening up, we are getting back into sports. And we were talking about school a little bit earlier, and schools are actually kind of struggling with or trying to figure out how we are going to have youth sports. How are schools going to go back into having our students participate? So one of the things that, you know, around this area, what we're doing is we're having non-contact sports, you know, or those high-risk sports. They're not going to be playing, but some other sports are. So I think sports are so important for kids, but then sometimes I kind of struggle with, well, is it safe for them to be participating? So I think it's, you know, it's that balance of safety and what kids really need to do. And then you have seniors who might be on the football team and they want to go to college and they don't have an opportunity to show off their skills in their last year of high school. So, I mean, any thoughts about sports for our youth?
You know,
I love sports. I do.
I think it's so sad for kids to be missing out on the sports, because I've really always, you know, read and believed that sports are the anti-drug, you know, one of the anti-drugs. Get kids involved in something productive so they're not just idly sitting around getting into trouble. It's a productive channel. It's a stress reliever. It's social. It's so important, and so it feels so sad that kids are missing out on that now. And there's no easy answers to it. But sometimes it's just acknowledging the loss of it.
Yeah,
it's really important.
It's true because. So, you know, I'm a professional bodybuilder, and I know when the gym was closed, I was lucky to have access to a place to be able to continue to train. And that was super important, especially it was such a stressful time that I needed that outlet. So now when you're looking at kids, I was looking at my students today, I'm like, you know, a lot of kids are not that active. Some kids are. I don't even see them outside playing, you know, riding their bikes and doing things. But I think this summer was the first summer in a very long time that I see children outside riding their bikes.
Right.
Yes.
Usually during the summer everybody's inside like little vampires and playing video games. This summer, I'm like, where's this bicycle gang going? They're just out there playing.
Yeah.
So that part
like the old days.
Right? Like the old days. I'm like, wow, children know how to go outside. They know how to play. Like, look at that.
They do.
So that was great. But as you said, Heidi, when you're talking about sports and academics, it's very important. I'm a member of my dojo, and my dojo hasn't opened because of all of this, because it's close contact. And I loved watching my sensei with the children. I mean, these little kids would come running across the mat, kick off their little Crocs, and you know, and as soon as he comes out, everybody settles down. But he would have words like they had like a affirmation. I call it an affirmation, but it was a pledge that they would recite every single class with their little 5-year-old voices. I will respect, you know, and so all of that. So it's not just the physical movement, but just that practice and that engagement of the mind and what he would put into them. So not only would they learn their different katas, the different movements, but he would every day they would have empowering words that they would say. Not only will they protect their bodies, they will protect their minds. So kids are missing out on that coach talk, you know, right before you get out on the field. You know, this is our house, you know, all of that stuff just get you real amped up, you know.
And the teamwork, you know.
Yes.
They're definitely missing out on the teamwork. So, you know, gyms have also opened in our area. And my husband, you know, Jeremiah, he went to the gym. You know, he said it was, you know, there weren't a lot of people there. And, you know, I might go to the gym, probably not, but we do have we have equipment downstairs, so I can definitely have access to that, but he needs, more. So Orlandina, being a bodybuilder, like how are you had access, but what about people who don't have that access? People were really feeling it.
They were feeling it, because when I went back to the gym, so I'm like a member of the dojo. I was a member of 2 gyms. Yeah. So I was like, okay, my dojo, they're closed for now. They're going to reopen later. But for my gyms, I had to just go down to 1, because I said, I'm starting school. Yeah. So I'm opening my circle of exposure. I'm like, okay. And then now I'm going to the gym. Yeah. So I was nervous. I really was, because I didn't know what I was going to see. But when I got in there, the faces that I hadn't seen since March, like people who go, they were like, they were just so happy to be back. And a lot of it is the community that it brings together. Mm-hmm. Like the guys talking junk, yo, I could do this better than you. The lady, like, our conversation that we have in the gym. Mm-hmm. And so you miss the community of it. Yeah. So, but like you said, the gym, they keep their numbers low. Like they're not playing. You walk in, they're taking your temperature, they're signing forms, they're giving you things to wipe down the equipment. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. But I think that once people came back, they're like, look, everybody was like, we're here. How you doing? I'm here. Right. Everybody healthy. I'm here. They're just very happy to be back.
Yeah. And they're asking people to wear masks in the gym.
Yes. And they're walking around. Like there's one, they are walking around. They're coming around, mask.
Some of my clients are talking about a little bit of, arguments erupting in the gym around some people maybe not wearing some people are wearing it at like a chin guard.
They're covering their mouth.
That's not doing any
satisfactory to other people.
Yes.
And, what do? You walk over to them and, then they're annoyed because you're telling them what to do. And it's can be a source of hostility. So.
And I think that goes along with the culture of the gym too. So the gym that I go to is a privately owned gym, and that the owner is already known for his no nonsense approach. The 2 gyms that I go to, they're no nonsense. So mess around, go ahead, play yourself. They will escort you out without a heartbeat. But the fact that somebody even has to approach you and have to have that conversation. Yeah. Because once you walk in, there's signs you must wear your mask. Right. It's not comfortable at all. I can tell you, you're doing cardio, you gotta, you can only open it a little bit, breathe, and then put it back on. I feel like a little goldfish.
It's hard enough to do the cardio.
Right, right. And then you have a mask on top of that.
You got a mask on top. They are socially distancing the equipment, so all the equipment is not open. So, they are doing their job because they do not want to be shut down.
So professional sports have also, they've made it work. You have basketball's in the bubble, and that seems to be going really, really well. They're in one place. Hockey, I think they travel, but the cases in those professional sports are low, so you can kind of glean, some of the things that they're doing to help, maybe start youth sports or other type of sports. But the one thing that I will say, we watch Hard Knocks, which is a football show, and the level of money that they put into, they test people every single day.
Wow.
We can't do that.
No, we can't. And then they keep them secluded in the bubble. Right. You're not allowed out unless it's like super special circumstances. Right. So that's another way. So they're keeping those little communities. But it looks crazy on television. Like I was watching a basketball game. Don't ask me what team. Listen, I like watching sports, and I'm like the worst person to watch, but I'm like, oh, he's cute. I'm going to root for him. Football, I'm like, I like the... There was a football player I loved, Eddie George, who played for the Titans. Only reason why I know that is because Eddie George had like the crazy, he would take off his helmet and smile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, woo!
I forgot the singer. One of the, maybe SWV, I don't know, anyway.
Yeah. He married one of them. So that's how I am with sports. Anyway, going back. But don't ask me what team. I'm like,
I like the halftime show.
There you go.
That's the limit of my engagement in it.
That's it, right?
No, that's as far as it goes. But I appreciate it and I love watching it. But it was crazy. Yeah, say it again.
Yeah. So
it was just crazy to see the screens. You guys see like the little television screens that they have with like the fake fans, and then they make the canned noises so you can hear. It's so weird. It's so
to kind of keep them motivated and pumped up.
That's right. Yeah, they need that. They really,
they thrive off of that. You need your adrenaline going.
Exactly.
But I'm sure the energy still feels different because it's not a live crowd. But I'm sure the noise helps, but it's not a live crowd. You know, that you know, screaming and energy. Like even watching MMA fights, the UFC fights, usually it's like in Las Vegas, stadium is filled, bunch of people commenting like, but now when you watch it, you can hear every punch, you can hear every kick. There's no noise.
Very different.
You know, I can sort of relate to it. I'm not a sports person, but before COVID, I was giving a lot of live workshops, and I kind of thrive on the energy of the audience, the live energy. And then I pivoted and started giving Zoom workshops. I'm giving the same content, I'm saying the same things, but it takes a lot of getting used to not having the same energy exchange. So I can only imagine when you're trying to do these really intense physical feats and you don't have that to egg you on.
Right. So we are definitely running out of time, and I want to make sure that we share, a lesson for today's show. Heidi, start with you. What's your lesson for today?
You know, I think my lesson is being inspired by you, Verdel and Orlandina, as educators, and really just appreciating, as we talked about it a lot today, your the decisions you have to make, the responsibility you have, the flexibility you have to demonstrate. So I'm just really inspired by that, and it's a lesson to me to carry that with me. And I'd say that's a big takeaway of mine from our conversation.
Thank you. That's awesome. Orlandina, what about you?
For me, I think it's a mixture of what you both have said. Heidi, it's telling the lesson of just taking time to take a breath. Just take a breath, stop for a moment, and just be able to be flexible. I think that's what I'm learning a lot this season. Just stop, take a breath, and like Bruce Lee says, be like water, and just be like water. Just be flexible and be bendable, because if not, with all these winds of change, you're gonna get battered, and it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to get battered, but just be flexible so you can go with the wind and you don't break under the pressure. So just take a breath and be flexible.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. I think that is really the lesson, to be flexible, but also to make time for yourself and to be able to allow yourself to make those mistakes, because it's going to happen. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. They want to be this certain way and they don't want to let their guard down. I know for me, I want to be always like in a professional way, but I had to throw that out of the window because it's a struggle. So I think the lesson here is to walk out in nature and take some moments just to kind of center yourself, to relax a little bit and not be so pent up with what's going on. So they're telling us to wrap it up. This was an amazing conversation. I want to make sure that, if you want to see other episodes or the shows like this on Rude Rangers, you can go to ruderangers.com. Remember, you're watching Have You Heard? And also, before we go, I also want to let everybody know where they can find you. So, Orlandina, we'll start with you.
You can find me on thefitterwoman.com, and you can watch my show right here on Rude Rangers, Muscles and Stilettos.
Coach Heidi.
I'm Coach Heidi K. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Join my Facebook group, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. And come on over and listen to my podcast, same name, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. And my website is reinventionlifecoaching.com.
And I'm Verdel Jones, and I am one of the co-hosts of Let's Kick It with the Joneses, and I am also the host of Conversations with Verdel Jones. My website is verdeljones.com, and you can follow me on YouTube at Conversations with Verdel Jones, and also my YouTube channel, Let's Kick It with the Joneses. And I just want to, say what an awesome conversation. Make sure you all follow us on social media and support this great information. So we're going to say good night to everybody, or goodbye to everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, all.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you for watching.